their back on each other and striving to be the 1% is what is causing the male.
First and foremost, there isn't a male loneliness epidemic. There is a loneliness epidemic across both genders. Keep scrolling on TikTok long enough. You'll see just as many women all over this app wondering, where are all the good men at? Why don't men approach us anymore? Like, seriously, after this last election, y'all started the 4 brain cells movement and half the internet's like, isn't that just MGTOW for women? If there was a male loneliness epidemic, it probably happened in the 2010s when MGTOW was more popular. Now, men who don't even subscribe to the MGTOW movement are basically just doing that. They're just not bragging about it. So it seems to me like men are the ones who are settling into being single and happy on their own, not women. As far as men throwing each other under the bus, the only men I see throwing men under the bus are male feminists who are desperate for female validation. Like, seriously, anybody who's honest with themselves can tell you the only men tearing down other men are leftists who are putting women on a pedestal and sheltering them from any and all criticism. Even though Red Pill and MGTOW creators often give poor advice, at the same time, these guys genuinely care about the well-being of other men. It just goes to show the road to hell is paved with noble intentions. Then on the more moderate side of the manosphere, you have the men's rights movement, which is primarily being spearheaded by women that other women call pick-me's. All these men's rights creators who are primarily women are saying is that, hey, we should be treating men equally, which is exactly what feminism was supposed to be about, but I guess feminism is dead now. Like, it's not exactly a big secret that the majority of modern self-proclaimed feminists just have an open hostility towards men and think that women are superior to men. Like, in your video, you talk about women doing better than men on average, and yet I'm pretty sure you also will complain about the wage gap the second it fits your narrative. And truth be told, men still do make more than women on average. But there's a reason for that. It's called men are providing for women and children. Like they always have. Women don't want to do that. Yes, more women are graduating from college and purchasing homes while single because they're not spending any of that money on families or partners. So even if they own more homes and graduate from college at higher rates, they're not getting paid the same because they're only providing for themselves. Hey boss, I got a wife and kids to feed is always going to get you more money than, excuse me boss, I'm just as qualified as him, I should be paid the same. Despite these stereotypes of evil capitalist corporations, your average employer is just another human being with a wife and kids to feed and a family to take care of. Women to this day are still getting paid less because they're only thinking of themselves. They're only taking care of themselves. Don't take my word for it. You can look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics yourself. Which brings us back to the modern dating environment. It's almost like every young married couple I see now says it feels like they caught the last chopper out of Nam because of how hostile the dating environment has become. But when you really look at it, men are just saying, hey, can y'all go 50-50? And women just have an endless laundry list of excuses on why they shouldn't have to. Literally, the only thing men are asking for in modern dating is equality. The very thing feminists of yesteryear fought for. Y'all go on and on about domestic labor, but most men today don't really care if you want us to help with cooking and cleaning. Do you have any idea of how many men have worked in the restaurant industry at some point in their life? Most of us probably cook better than y'all at this point because we've done it professionally for so long. Men don't have a problem with doing domestic labor, but we actually have to be home in order to help you out. And in order to support a whole nother adult, we have to work 40 hours a week at minimum, and we're never home if we're working that much. And you'll try to say, well, that's the patriarchy, and men set it up. And yet here you are reaping the benefits of the patriarchy. You're the one upholding the patriarchy. Y'all are the ones exploiting the patriarchy. Let's be honest with ourselves. The patriarchy is little more than a scapegoat that y'all are projecting blame on so you don't have to address your own weaponized incompetence. But by far the most ridiculous argument y'all use to justify your refusal to go 50-50 in a relationship is because y'all pay for your hair, your makeup, your nails, your clothes to look good for men. And in the same breath, the second a guy you don't like hits on you, we're not doing this for the male gaze. Both sides of this argument are coming from women. Who are we supposed to believe? But what's ridiculous is that when y'all are confronted like this about your own toxic or manipulative behavior, which in this context is rather petty and could easily be resolved, y'all deflect the conversation to violent crimes against women. Why don't people believe women? Because y'all bring this stuff up anytime there's a conversation you don't want to have. Like seriously, men are out here just saying, hey, can y'all just step up and go 50-50 in a relationship? And y'all are responding with, we choose the bear! But let's get down into the raw statistics here. There is 1.6 million men in the U.S. and less than 80,000 individuals on the National Sex Offender Registry. Even if you quadrupled that number, that'd still be less than 1% of the overall male population in the U.S. Even if you included serial unalivers or domestic abusers in those stats, that's still a very small minority of men. You would rather generalize all men as evil than simply address some of the petty nonsense that y'all pull in relationships and in dating. But 1 in 4 women in their lifetime will experience domestic abuse, and 1 in 6 men, but we don't talk about it. More importantly, up to 20% of women have hybristophilia. Hybristophiliacs are people who are turned on by violent criminals. And look, if we're being honest, 20% is the highball estimate, but the fact that it can even be rounded up that high is astonishing. Cut it in half, that's 1 in 10 women who are attracted to violent criminals. There is a disturbingly large portion of women dating in this day and age who are attracted to the worst possible men. And before you try to tell me that men are attracted to violent women too, no, we're not. Not nearly at the same rate. Women make up 90% of hybristophiliacs. There's a reason you can throw a dart at a list of serial killers, and just about any one of them is probably going to have a long list of groupies who supported them and wrote to them. And when it comes to female serial killers, it's primarily women again who are obsessed with them. You'll have basically turned Aileen Wuornos into a martyr. Do you seriously expect men to believe that Aileen Wuornos, who was a sex worker, was nearly raped by 6 different men, 6 different days, and defended herself all 6 times with lethal force? Or she was using sex to lure men out where she could take their lives, and then justified it through false accusations? The fact that so many women are obsessed with women like that is a massive red flag for this generation. Which just goes to show that female on male violent crimes are probably quite underreported and unaccounted for. Look, I'm not saying all women are bad, I'm not saying most women are bad, but I do find it rather disturbing that anytime men try to talk about these issues, most women will take it personal. Meanwhile, there's no shortage of women all over the internet saying it's all men till it's no men. So many of y'all will generalize all of us as violent criminals, and when we say, hey, that's pretty ignorant, y'all say, no, it's not, it's the truth. And for the women who buy into this nonsense, the only men they let into their inner circle are the men who are actually throwing other men out under the bus to gain female validation, and half the time they end up getting exposed for being predators. What did you think? No reasonable man wants to be around women with that type of mindset, and they would rather be alone than deal with it. And when all the decent men don't want to mess with you anymore, what's left? All the lying snake in the grass who will tell you what you want to hear until they get you alone and get their way with you. Seriously, it isn't all men. It's not most men. But when you are so openly hostile and hateful towards men that only bad men are willing to deal with you, you reap what you sow. The reality is men and women are single and lonely in equal numbers right about now. The difference is men are more willing to accept and address the issue and be happy with themselves. So real talk, ladies. Men are choosing to walk away. All y'all have to do to change that is step up a little bit. We don't need y'all to cook and clean for us anymore. Just keep paying the bills when you enter a relationship. Take your guy out once in a while. Buy him some nice things for a change. Ask the cute guy you've been crushing on out. I don't care what he does for a living. But most importantly, recognize your toxic lady friends and cut them out of your life, because miserable, lonely women will keep other women miserable and lonely. Don't be like them. Rise above it.